Hi everyone, my name is Agunda Okeyo. I'm a fellow at CCC and I have a few reflections on two instances of things that have come up in the Me Too movement that I think highlight how we relate to Black women who experience sexual harassment. First off, I want to talk about the incident with Ariane Grande at Aretha Franklin's funeral with the Bishop Charles Ellis, who obviously inappropriately groped her at the pulpit before she performed her song in dedication to the late legend. The way that Ariana was held and the way that she was consistently groped on the side of her breast and kind of held close and the constant readjusting by the bishop and her obvious discomfort that a lot of other women recognize, I think was very classic and indicative of a lot of the ways that sexual harassment manifests in our everyday lives. There are instances where you have people like a Harvey Weinstein or James Toback who are incredibly vulgar, vile, abusive, violent men. And you also have instances of people like the Bishop Charles, the bishop who basically kind of feel comfortable holding women in ways that we don't like to be held. And they do not recognize the signals, and they also feel that they have the right to do that. I think it was really powerful that people came forward and said, hey, that was not right what happened to Ariana. And then later, a few days later, the bishop apologized. But I also think that if Ariana was a Black woman, I wonder if we would have recognized that as inappropriate. And the reason why I say that is because I believe there is a double standard in terms of how we think about sexual harassment when it comes to Black women versus white women. For instance, we have the recent case with Les Moonves, the former head of CBS, who just stepped down because of multiple allegations of sexual harassment and also condoning sexual harassment and a culture within the CBS community. He has been identified and has been exposed that he had blocked Janet Jackson for several years after the Super Bowl incident where her breast was exposed from gaining all kinds of opportunities. He basically tanked her album that came out that year. He blocked her from VH1 and MTV, which are owned by the same parent company, Viacom. And for years, apparently, he held a grudge to the point that even after 7 years, she got a book deal by Simon & Schuster, who also is connected to CBS, and he was livid that she got a book deal. And this is really important to think about in terms of, do we think about what happened to Janet Jackson those years ago where Justin Timberlake essentially skated off free and his career has actually probably never been better. And Janet Jackson is only now really having a comeback. Someone who is a legend in our community from the Jackson family and has a bona fides in all levels of being a talent herself. Why weren't people stepping up for her? Why wasn't there the support for Janet Jackson? I think that we need to do better as a culture in recognizing Black women and the sexual harassment that Black women experience, and also be able to step up and call it out, because I think all women need us to support them and to be able to speak up for them, and also to hear them when they speak up for themselves about cases of sexual harassment. The Me Too movement was started by a Black woman and centers Black women and centers women of all marginalized communities, and it's something that we should make sure that we understand that a lot of women who are experiencing harassment are not always the ones who we're talking about. So hopefully from here on forward, we'll find a way to have more elevated conversations.